Hello friend, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Lana and this is the Lambs and Lilies workshop where it's all about crocheting, knitting, and sewing adventures. So this video, we are going to be continuing what we started in the last video, which is working through my project list and also stash busting at the very same time. We are currently at 97 balls of yarn. So here's our dining room table. We thrifted it last year and it's actually an office table. It has this thing in the middle with outlets in it to attach your chargers and whatever to it. If you're having a conference, we don't do that. We eat here. And I don't always want this fruit bowl here, so we need a table runner. The plan is to make the table runner not the full length of the table, to have it hanging over the sides, because I do have a baby who's learning to stand up, and if she starts pulling on it and there's stuff on it, it could fall on her and not safe. So I do want to make it shorter than the full length of the table, and I already pulled out all the yarn I need for it. So I have this acrylic, very soft kind of yarn. It is DK weight. The pattern I chose needs a 4 weight, I believe, of yarn. So I do also have this bag of mysterious fiber content balls of yarn. It's quite thin as well. If I double strand it, it's probably a fine weight. So fine weight plus DK weight is probably going to be the same as a 4 weight. And they're both white, and I think white will go very nicely there. This is the first 9 rows. The cool thing is that this is the gauge swatch, the first 9 rows. So there is no excuse not to measure this. I failed with the pot holders a little bit. They were a little wonky from the last video because I didn't do a gauge swatch. So let me measure this. Let me show you. This is the perfect size. Look at that. 4 inches side to side. So this is how far I've gotten, and one of the first unknown fiber balls, it's basically out, but not to fear. I've got 2 more bigger ones, so I think it'll be enough for this whole project. This other ball of yarn, the acrylic, the soft one, it's actually quite full still, so we're still good with that. If you can see how it's working up, you can already see a pattern forming. So the wattle stitches right here, there's 2 of them. They're all stacked over each other. These popcorn looking stitches, which the pattern calls large bean stitch, they're all stacked over each other. It's turning out to be quite pretty. And you know what I really like as well is that these 2 yarns work so well together, you can't even tell you're double stranding in the final result, which I really love. So I just want to show you that the decrease edge has been straightened out, so you can already see how it's becoming a rectangle slowly. And of course this edge you just keep increasing so that it continues growing until you don't need it anymore. But let me show you the yarns. So this is how much I have of the second ball that was the mysterious fiber content, who knows what it is. And then here is the very scant skein of the DK weight acrylic. Yeah, it's not going to be enough. So basically right now, this is about 16 inches long. I was just measuring it, and it has to be about 39 inches long, this like longer edge. So yeah, this tiny little amount's not going to be enough. I do have this ball of yarn. This is also acrylic, but this is a size 4 weight yarn. So my plan is to just try using this on its own without double stranding it, because it's supposed to be a size 4 anyways. For now, I'm just going to finish what I have left of this. Good morning, friends. So as you saw last night, I finished that skein of the acrylic yarn. Here's the very last of it. And I have this pure white acrylic yarn that's a size 4 weight. It will probably work. I will go ahead and first start attaching both of these. And then if that doesn't work, we'll try something else. So today it's May 2nd for me, and it's our 10-year wedding anniversary with my husband, which is why I'm looking like this. I'm wearing makeup, which I normally don't. We were planning a trip to go with our entire family to some hot springs. It's supposed to rain this weekend, so we are actually postponing the trip until a later date. Double stranding it with the thread is creating the same thickness as the last two yarns that I was double stranding, so I think it's going to work out really well. I have two more full skeins that haven't been started yet of this white yarn, so I think we'll be good from now on. Good morning, friends. As you've just seen, it was such a lovely day yesterday. It was sunny, it was warm. Today's Saturday, it's rainy and cold. So if we had left it for the weekend, it wouldn't have worked out so well. So I'm so glad that we were able to go. I did a little bit of work last night. I didn't film it, but I did a little bit more length to this. As you see right here is where we started with the white color yesterday. So I added just a few more rows. We still have quite a ways to go. We'll keep working on it. Today, I don't have all day to work on it. I have a lot of things planned. While the cake is baking, we can put some more work into this. Yeah, yarn situation here is what's left of the lace, or not lace, the thread. And this is all that's left of the acrylic white. So let's grab another ball and just keep going. Did you see how good it looks? I personally love it. We don't have to have the bulky fruit bowl there anymore. If we don't want anything on the table except for the table runner, we don't have to have it there. So exciting. The cool thing also is that you can't really tell the difference between the two shades of white that we used. Remember that? We have the pure white, we have the off-white that we started with. It's really hard to tell in the natural light that we have there in the dining room. So I actually decided not to go with the tassels because they would be in the way. If it was overhanging the table, then it would look nice. As far as how much yarn we have left after all of that, this skein is probably 3/4 of the way done, just like I thought it would be. So I'm going to put it together with the other full skein that I have. And of course, this one is barely used, so I'll put this back as well. Next project, it's going to be a swimsuit cover. The pattern is by Jenny and Teddy. Again, I found on Ravelry, of course. And it calls for almost 500 yards of DK weight yarn. I have this by Loops and Threads. It's rayon from bamboo. I love it so much. It is so soft. It is so pleasant to wear. And then I also have this started skein, also the same, well, it's not same. It's also rayon from bamboo, but it's a different brand. It's by Trubu. But the lightest shade of the pink here almost exactly matches this one. So I think it's going to work well. I want to do this for like the neckline. This pattern does not call for a gauge swatch because you make a foundation chain and measure it to yourself. So it could be as big or small as you need it to be. And it's a very simple pattern. You basically make a front panel and a back panel in a rectangle. They're both exactly the same. And then you connect at the shoulders, you make a collar, and you leave an opening between the shoulder seam and however long you want the armhole to be. And then you just connect the sides. About the third row in, I finally realized, you know what? With a 4mm hook and a DK weight yarn, I'm in it for the long haul. I don't know what I was expecting, but yeah, this is slow going, really. This is the type of project where you turn on a video or music or something and you just mindlessly crochet until you finally get to the length. And I need to make 2 of these. One thing I will say about this yarn, as soft and silky as it is, it does come with its own negative spin, I guess you could call it that. It is so splitty. Look, the end already. Like, this is how I started it. Look at the end already. Like, do you see that? Like, this is the entire crochet experience. Like, you're trying to get into the stitch, it's splitting the yarn every which way. So yesterday I spent some time on and off working on it. I got maybe 30 rows in. Here we are, and it's boring. I like a lot of variety. I like when you have very interesting stitches. This is the same thing over and over again. As pretty as it is, this is not very interesting to crochet, but I'm gonna stick through it. So it's gonna be something like this, and of course when you stretch it, it's just about like right over my bust. So we still have quite a ways to go. I think this is what, 1/4 of the way out. I'm kind of nervous because I'm already halfway done with this first skein. To make this project a little bit more interesting and hopefully faster, I decided to try a new technique of crocheting. and also to fix the tension. So I decided to do like this twisty yarn situation. I usually just hold my project with these two fingers, the forefinger and the thumb, but I've seen a lot of people crochet like this. And you know what? I think I'm getting a hang of it, and I see why people stick their finger out like a cannon like this. I have an idea. You know what I'm curious about? Whether the first technique that I usually use to crochet is faster, or if it's the second one that I've been practicing the last 10 rows or so. I have a stopwatch on my phone, which I'm going to use. And I will just crochet one row with the usual technique, and then I will restart the timer, and then we will crochet a second round using the new technique that I was just practicing and see if that's faster. That to me is actually surprising because chaining with the second technique is so much faster and more efficient, it seems like, but I guess everything else is not as efficient. And the second technique took a little over a minute longer. It doesn't seem like such a big deal side by side, just like a minute difference. But when you put it together overall, let's say there's going to be 80 rows total. That's 80 extra minutes that you would be using in order to make the top. So that does add up quite a bit. You know what? I think I will continue practicing the second technique because again, I'm not very good at it yet. I will redo the timer and see if that makes a difference. I got this much done right here. Not too bad. I finished the whole skein. Here's the stitch holder and here's the remaining yarn of that skein. Let's measure how much we've gotten. So connected at the shoulders. I'm going to stretch it down. I want it to be about the length of this current shirt. And this was a full skein. So I think I can get that length that I want within the next half a skein. I did it. So I am at 81 rows currently, and it is exactly the length that I want it to be. So here, let me go all the way back here. On the very last row, I retimed myself again just to see how long I can do one row after a whole lot more practice. And guys, I'm at 5 minutes and 34 seconds per row. That's awesome. I felt like it was going faster, so practice does make it better. Both panels done. I wove in the ends. Now it's time to make the collar. Pattern just states to do however many stitches you have across and just do like a whole inch of single crochet for the collar. But the pictures that she has of herself with that kind of collar, it sticks out. Do you see that? it sticks out like this. It doesn't lay flat. I don't like that. So to fix that problem, I'm going to not only use a smaller hook, but I'm also going to do a few decreases to cinch in the neckline so that it's going to just lay flat and a little bit narrower. Guys, it's done. I am so excited. This project just didn't want to end, okay? This was one of those projects where you go into it thinking it's gonna be so quick, so easy, it's just gonna be done bam bam. No, ma'am, definitely not. This was taking so long, at least it felt like it. You know, if you go into a project with the mentality, oh yeah, this will take a while, you enjoy the process, you know it's going to take a while. But when you go into a project thinking it's going to take a short amount of time and it doesn't, you're in the mentality of like, this should be taking me much less time than it is. This is what this was. So the collar, I did 5 rows total of single crochets, and you can probably see with the waviness where I did all the decreases. I haven't tried this on yet. I'm going to try it on together with you and see how it actually sits on me. But from what I can tell, it's not going to be sticking out like the original pattern. Okay, so I put it on now over a black tank top and some leggings, okay? So let me show you. It does come past my bum just like I wanted it to. And it is quite short because it's not a dress, right? It's just a swimsuit cover. And the neckline does sit flat, just like I was hoping it would. So let's count how many skeins of yarn I used this video. So we used up one of these balls, so that's already one. We used up this entire skein, what was left of it anyways, that's already 2. One of these balls of yarns, which was just the plain white acrylic, it didn't have a label, but we used it, you saw it. One of these threads, 2 entire variegated yarns. So we started with 97 balls of yarn, and we are taking off 6 from that number, which is 91 balls of yarn. However, guys, when I did the initial count, I completely forgot. On my desk, I have a whip that I have not touched in months, okay? Because I'm just not into it anymore. And I totally forgot that I had one more ball of yarn. Total count was not 100 exactly, it was 101. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add that to our total now. So we're currently at 91, but because I have this ball of yarn I totally forgot about, it's actually 92.